Welcome to an exclusive Run 247. We're back with Sena, Spartan founder, for an interview 1 week, or less than a week now, ahead of the start of the UK Spartan season. Welcome, Joe.
Thanks for having me.
No worries, pleasure to see you again. So firstly, if we can just start with massive atmosphere building up now. We yesterday saw the Hyde Park training session. What was the atmosphere like?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, they were Spartans. Here's the amazing thing, no matter where we go in the world, somewhere inside this human being is a Spartan, and we just got to get them out. And yesterday in the park, there were hundreds and hundreds of them that came out and in full force, ready to go. We were about 3/4 way done with the workout, and you could hear a pin drop. And I thought, what's going on? They were just breathing heavy and sweating, but they couldn't speak anymore. But it was fun.
It was fun. So, and that was led by Richard, wasn't it? The UK race director.
Yeah.
How was he getting on?
Richard's getting on great. He's built a great team. Dell, who's in a lot of our podcasts, which we're going to talk about, she's on the team. Carolyn. Yep. We've got this massive team we're starting to build here in the UK, and it's exciting.
Brilliant. So, moving on to Alliance Stadium, big coup for Spartan because it's a stadium sprint, which anyone that knows Spartan gets excited when they see American videos, and we've got one here in the UK.
Exactly.
So can you tell us a little bit, what can we expect? I mean,
well, the funny thing is, when we first entered a stadium in the US, it was Fenway. Fenway is an iconic stadium in Boston, you know, the home of the Red Sox.
Yes.
And what we found on that Monday, after this is going to sound terrible, was a pile of puke in the corner, and we realized that a lot of people come out to stadiums because they love the sport of baseball, football, whatever it is that they're going to that stadium for, and aren't necessarily trained up and ready for a Spartan. So I suspect the same is going to happen in the UK. There's going to be a bunch of people that just got off the couch and maybe aren't ready for this, but we'll see.
And can you give us a little bit of a clue, maybe, of how it's going to be different from the normal sprints that we've seen in the UK?
Yeah, well, it's
without giving too much away, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cleaner. Typically, the stadium's cleaner, so you're not going to get as dirty. It tends to be a lot more females that show up to stadiums. So any guys out there that are single, this would be a good place to show up. It's brutal. It's still brutal because you're going to climb stairs and so forth. But it has a different feel to it. The music, the feeling is different. It's just very unique.
It's very special.
Yeah.
Excellent. So if we can move on to the more venues that Spartan are looking at, Rich Pringle's set this year, being race director. He's got a whole host of new exciting venues. You've got Scotland covered, you've got Wales, you've got Manchester. Tell us a little bit about them. I mean,
so I mean, Scotland's just awesome, right? If you've seen the movie, at least for me, Braveheart, that's what I'm visualizing in my head So Scotland, I'm super excited with, and then we've moved, like you said, all over the country, right? We're in places we haven't been before, and
Absolutely
so it's just a matter of getting the word out and going to those areas. And what's great about the UK is each one of them have their own distinct feeling and character and personality, right? Whether it's rugby players in one area, or the Northerners. The Northerners are a lot more rugged. We were talking about this morning than the South. Down here, I guess there's just so much transportation, and it's been easier to get around. Got a little softer. Maybe there's more couches.
Well, when the world champions from the north, we'll discuss that. So, can you tell us a bit more about the obstacles that you can expect to see this year? I mean, what's exciting for the UK?
Yeah, in our mind, we want this to someday be an Olympic sport, and to get there, we've got to have consistency with obstacles. So you're going to see all the obstacles you've seen before, whether it's the spear throw, the walls you're climbing, or the barbed wire you're crawling under, or rope climbs, etc. We want people to become really proficient at those obstacles, and then the really sneaky, tricky part is how we organize those obstacles and what the terrain looks like.
Yeah.
So that's where you start to see the differences and the pain.
And the pain.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. And a lot of people are very interested since John's win last year in the Spartan World Champs, which we'll come to, but a lot of people are interested about the new Spartan coins and entry to the World Champs. Will competitors be able to get them through the UK this year? Yeah,
so anybody could come do the World Champs, but if you want to race in the elite division, you've got to earn one of these coins. The coins are awesome. The coins, we went to Sparta, and we dug up, we found this treasure chest of coins, and we dug them up, and so they're one of a kind, and you earn that coin, and you've got to show up in Lake Tahoe in the States this year with the coin. Without it, you're not racing in the elite division.
So they can be won. Brilliant.
There was apparently one of the elites was kidnapped and someone stole his coin. That's how valuable they've become.
Oh my word, for entry into this.
For entry, yeah.
Absolutely. So we can move away slightly from the UK now, just to Slovakia on the 5th of September. European Championships. There's a lot of excitement about this at the moment in the country. The fact that for the first time we've got a Euro Spartan Championship. Can you tell us a little bit about what the race is going to consist of, and also the venue?
Well, so we were having I don't know, many people in London or in the UK might not realize how tough the Slovakians are, but we kept going through barbed wire at a faster rate than other parts of the world. It turns out they were eating it for breakfast. So the Slovakians are tough. And I would be nervous if I was going over there to compete in that event, because the terrain, I don't know if anybody knows where that location is, but that terrain is rugged. I would argue we're going to have probably a percentage of people that just don't make it out of there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's a ski resort, am I right thinking
ski
that?
Resort.
So traditional kind of Vermont-esque hills are going to be play a feature.
Yeah.
What sort of things to look out for, would you say? Is it going to be a lot more carries?
Well,
it's going to be
tons of carries. I mean, all the things you'd expect in a championship, right? There's going to be a lot of carries. There's going to be distance. There's going to be elevation gain and loss. Views are obviously epic over there, but the competition's going to be rugged. I mean, like I said, these people fight for milk, and we have an excess of milk here in the UK. So, if I were competing in that championship, I would move out into the woods, probably with no tent, and start to just eat whatever I could find.
And start training.
Just start training that way.
Brilliant. I mean, that's what I was going to say. What sort of athletes are going? You know, because it's not.
They're coming from all over the world. There's tons of U.S. athletes that have been talking about going over there, and just
to the Euros,
to Euro champion, just to show them up a bit.
Wow. I mean, we'll come back into John and the World Champs in a second, but is there a kind of feeling at the moment that the US athletes, need to show their worth?
I mean, I love John. There was a bunch of whispers amongst the US athletes that he got lucky, but but I don't think that's the case. I think he trained real hard and he deserved it. But they're coming for blood.
They're coming for blood.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. So if we can move on to the World Champs, firstly, can we talk about Vermont for a little bit? I know you may have touched on it before, and it's a bit of old news, but it was the jewel in the crown. It was really exciting. It was huge. Everyone was watching it here. And John Blitzers, how was it for you?
I live right up the road, so I wanted to keep it in Vermont. But at the end of the day, we need to move it around. And West Coast provided an awesome opportunity and an epic place that is just idyllic for Spartan, and that's Lake Tahoe. So it gives the people in San Francisco and the West Coast a chance. Probably a little bit more of a trip for those coming from the UK. But
there's interest from all across, from France with Thomas Blanc that you know very well.
I know Thomas. Thomas is great.
Yeah, Thomas's focus is to train for that, so he's going to hopefully be ready to compete top 10, if not better, this year.
That would be great to see.
So I mean, what can you say about Vermont? How did it go in your eyes?
Vermont went well. I think the athletes that didn't win had lots of complaints about why did I have to carry 2 sandbags and this or that, and I think that's just par for the course in any competition, right? When you don't win, your instinct is to complain. Pacquiao had a shoulder problem, right? So it's just that's what happens. We'll see. I suggested that all the athletes that were top 10, top 15, male and female last year, should probably trade in their pillows for sandbags for the year, and I understand a lot of people have done that.
Yeah. Well, certainly got people like James Appleton training very hard, and Thomas.
James has gone underground. I think his training has become so secretive. I'm expecting to see some serious performance this year.
I think he's one to watch this year, certainly.
I've emailed him. He hasn't responded. Rumor has it he's completely disconnected from society, and he's gone underground to train. Already.
Do you think he might show at the Euros then for
I think
a
he
flash?
Would. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so for athletes who aren't that sort of samba, for say like myself or other ones that are going kind of looking to train it, how do we get a wildcard entry? What sort of criteria is that? Is there any in the UK?
You're going to have to know somebody.
Really?
You're going to have to know somebody and probably email somebody senior at Spartan. We'll see.
That's the kind of way to get in. Then you can't have like an outstanding.
No, we'll have some coins that we give out to those that deserve a shot. Just like Rocky Balboa had a shot against Apollo Creed, right?
Right. So, for those, what would you say? 5 tips for training for the World Champs. Then, what would you say?
Definitely carry heavy things.
Right.
In front. I would get used to carrying heavy weight in front for multiple miles at high speeds. and I've been giving that tips to some of the elites. And then all the typical tips, right? Make sure you're proficient at all the obstacles, climbing, crawling. Be prepared to get sick at altitude, and you know, multiple altitude visits. And I would be prepared to handle cold water. I'd be taking cold showers from now until the champs.
Until the champs, gosh.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, if we can just turn slightly back then to the UK now, just for a moment. So, going forward after this season, what would you and Richard class as a successful season?
It's already shaping up to be a successful season. So I think we put on great events, which we're planning on doing. I think we want to keep injury rates low, especially for elites, so they could make it through to the preeminent race company, and we're treating it professionally and very in athletic nature, and we want this thing to someday get in the Olympics.
And is there any plans for further expansion next year that you're looking at,
in
or
the
are
UK,
they top secret at the time?
Top secret. We've got a room that's 4 stories underground in a mountain in Vermont. Well, you've seen it.
You've seen it, absolutely.
Yeah.
Is that where your podcast is filmed?
That's where
in
we
Vermont?
film it in that.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about your podcast then?
So the podcast, I mean, there's something much bigger for me that was interesting about Spartan, and that it was the cerebral aspect, to get in the head of those people that are successful, whether a monk, a business person, a mom that handles kids in the perfect way, right? Why do they do that? Why do they have massive motivation every day and incessant drive, and then other people kind of sleepwalk through life? And so we had the opportunity to interview some pretty high-profile people, and we jumped on that opportunity. The problem, as you know, with a podcast, once we started, is it never ends.
Yes.
Right? So we ran out, we spent 3 or 4 months, and we interviewed 200 people. Wow. Because I just wanted to have a breather. And some amazing people, as you've already seen, released in the podcast. And so it's giving people maybe that little nudge to get off the couch when they hear some of these stories and say, wait a minute, that man or woman is successful because of these principles. I just need to apply a few of those things to my own life, and that'll get me off the couch and under the barbed wire. And that's the goal for it, and that's why we do it.
Brilliant. And you enjoying it?
As you know, it's enjoyable at moments, but it's extremely tiring. It's a lot of work.
Brilliant. So moving on to the Google advert, which was huge. Certainly we didn't see that coming, and we suddenly saw these people doing burpees. And can you tell us a bit about how that kind of happened?
I mean, to get a phone call from Google saying they want us to stop the Earth from spinning is an interesting phone call, right? Because how do you even tackle that? And then what are going to be the long-term effects to the Earth, right? Are trees going to stop growing? What if it doesn't start spinning again?
Absolutely.
One side of the Earth gets all the sun, and the other side stays dark, and that would be our fault. So we were happy to partake in it. The engineers assured us that they could get the Earth spinning again, and it went viral. So that was
absolutely.
That was exciting.
Crazy. I mean, I had people come and speak to me that knew I did Spartan but knew nothing about it, and have you seen this? This is amazing. Is this what you do? And so I mean, did it go absolutely crazy?
It did. It went crazy. It was, and then I don't know. Have you seen the follow-up Twitter video? You need to take a look, because the Twitter CEO jumped in and said that's great that Spartan and Google tackled that, but they used Twitter to get it done. So it's a fun video.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good. And so we've seen a couple of things with Richard Branson as well. Is there kind of relationship there?
There is.
One of the UK's favourite sons.
I mean, he's a Spartan, right, through and through.
Brilliant.
And he's awesome. He accepts us with open arms. We've had many discussions about, and we have put on some little races on his island down in Necker Island, little Spartan private races. And so he's been a big supporter, and we're psyched to have him as a friend.
Is there any truth to the rumour he will be competing this year at Spartan?
That is the rumour. Supposedly he's going to jump out of a plane. We'll see.
Wow, there we go. That would be something. So we just moved to Spartan generally. There's been the Spartan cruise, saw a lot of people with sleigh carries and things like that. And there's been, from some part of the obstacle race community, have been complaining that, oh, look, this is more Reebok, this is more a push towards CrossFit. I mean, what would you say to that? What would you say? What was the...
No, I mean, I've had discussions with senior management of CrossFit, and we're never going to turn into that. That's just not us. but there'll always be athletic components to what we do. And we've always had sleds and drags, and I mean we've had that from the beginning of.
I mean, surely it would just be the boundaries being pushed. That's what Spartan does, isn't it? They look at different things, and it's
exactly.
It's a kind of different component.
The fun component of the cruise is a gentleman named Michael Wardian. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
So he does the race. He's an ultra runner, first Spartan ever. I meet him for the first time at the finish line, and he says, "Joe, how you doing?" We shake hands. He said, "Would you mind if I run the island?" Because this is a 50 and 100 mile runner. And he said, "I'm a little tired because I'm not used to upper body stuff that I just did, but I need to get my run in." No problem. He runs the island, and after he runs the island, he sees me and he says, "That was awesome. The race was great. I really enjoyed. Thanks for letting me run the island. Someday," he goes, "I'd love to set the world record, 50K on a treadmill." I said, "Why don't we do it tonight on the boat?" So he does it. We go on the boat, and he spends 3 hours and change, and he runs as fast as he can on the treadmill after running the island and doing the Spartan race.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we all go to bed. High five. He set the record. This is fantastic. Wake up for breakfast in the morning, just whatever, not even 8 hours later, and he says, "Bad news." He says, "It turns out I missed the record by 2 minutes." I said, "Well, you know what that means, right? We got to get back on the treadmill right now." And he did it.
And he did it.
And he did it again, right after breakfast, and crushed it.
That is amazing. So, now you personally, what sort of challenges are you doing this year then? What are you doing any races? Or
I just did a 50K in upstate New York, which wasn't, it was enough for me to feel it, but wasn't enough to really crush me yet. And I'm just going to keep up in the ante until the end of the season, start to get back into it. It's hard with all the travel and the kids and so forth, but I got to start pushing it again.
And is there any chance you might get back on the bike? Because I know our Try 247 readers and people that watched the video last time are fascinated to hear about the Ironman and things like that. Is there any movement you might get back on the bike at some point?
The only problem I'm having with the bike is you've got to commit to 5, 7, 8 hours a week, and I'm never home anymore. I'm home on average 1 day a week. And so to tell my 4 kids and my wife, "Hey, I'm home, but I got to get on my bike. I'll see you in 6, 7 hours." Tough sell.
Yeah, they might kill you.
Yeah. No. Tough sell.
That is it. That is brilliant. Thank you very much for your time today, Joe.
You're awesome.
It's really good to see you again.
Good to see you.